Welcome to Gamesthetic, episode 132. Hopefully you're having an incredible day today. Whatever day you're watching this or listening to this episode, we appreciate the absolute hell out of you. So this is going to be one of those weeks where we have no idea if Zach's going to be here. If he does, cool. If he's not, I guess I'll see him next week. But we got John here as usual. John, how are you?
I'm doing good. I lost it
I know.
right before we were going.
I
I was going to tell you what that was. I was going to go with my parents tomorrow, like I was telling you.
Yeah.
And my mom had just texted like, "Hey, we're eating at 1. Burgers and hot dogs at 1." My brother just replied with an American flag.
Yeah, that's a great way to spend Memorial Day, just some burgers and hot dogs. I don't know how I'm going to spend mine yet. I guess I'll find out tomorrow. But yeah, happy Memorial Day weekend to everyone. If you're out celebrating, make sure to stay safe. Have a great time, of course. Hopefully, if you got a 3-day weekend, hopefully you're enjoying it in whatever capacity, going somewhere, going down the lake, or just kicking back, playing some games, whatever the case is. For today's episode, of course, we have that PlayStation 5 Showcase. This was rumored to be like the big one, so we're going to dive into that and see if it actually was or not. Going to chat some more Zelda. I've been playing a lot of it. John got it. John's been playing. He got it from me, so he's been playing it. So I'm curious his thoughts.
I gotta know because I didn't ask you. What was your reaction when I just called you the day that it came in?
So...
Because I know I called you, and as soon as I mentioned it, you lost it.
Yeah, because I was excited. I was just like, oh, man, he's actually interested. Holy shit. That's not what I would have expected out of you.
Because I can only imagine you probably looked at your phone and went, "What John call me for?"
That is correct. It's just like, what the hell is John calling me for? You only call me for certain things. So it's like, when I see you calling me, I was immediately like, okay, this could be Zelda. This could be the Zelda call. So yeah, chatting about Zelda. Going to be briefly touching on some stuff coming out of The Last of Us and some news involving that. And then we have a bunch of stuff in the weekly wrap-up that we'll go over and react to. Of course, first and foremost, make sure to follow the podcast wherever you're listening to it. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Sparky3. Drop a like on the live stream. We'd appreciate that extra support. As well as go over to Rogue Energy with the referral link down below. Pick up some Rogue. We recommend basically everything. It's all delicious. Join the Discord to come chat with us. And, of course, go over to Agent Inc. and pick up a jersey. We have the best jerseys on the website by far.
I meant to wear mine. I had it setting out to put on.
Yeah, the other day when we did AniMan Plus, Zach, was plugging for me because, that sounds wrong. You know what I mean? So Zach was doing all the shout outs and stuff, and he shout out the AniMan Plus jersey. He's like, the AniMan Plus jersey is the best one on the website, and we don't even have it yet. I'm like, that's a good point. We have not bought that jersey yet, but we need to because it is awesome. But yeah, definitely use the referral link down below for Agent Inc. We'd appreciate that support, absolutely. Can't think of anything else. One little shout out here is if you're watching this live, if the stream randomly goes down, I apologize. OBS crashed. We've been having some problems. Hopefully it won't crash. If it does crash, we'll be back up here in just a few minutes. So it's all good. If you're listening to the audio version, it's irrelevant to you. I'll just mash it all together like I did with AniMan Plus, because AniMan Plus did crash midway. Unfortunate is what it is. So yeah, PlayStation 5 Showcase. Before we actually, I actually have the whole list here for us. Okay, entire list. I even detailed some of the games for us. So before we even dive into this list, without giving full thoughts, I'm curious, what would you give this as a letter grade?
Oh, a letter grade.
Yes, right off the bat. Let's go and establish this now.
For me personally, I'm floating between B- and C+.
Okay, because that's around where I'm at.
I would call it okay, but underwhelming.
Yeah, that's my mindset as well.
It's like what we expected to be there was there, but there was nothing necessarily exciting.
Yes, I agree.
Or nothing that was exciting that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. Because like if I was strictly just riding the hype of, Spider-Man, it would be like an A+++++++. But I got to be realistic and say, okay, the whole showcase is not an A+++++.
Oh yeah, I mean, even then, it's hard for even like one game to turn a showcase into an A+++ when it's 10% of the showcase.
Yeah, true. All right, so let's look at this showcase. Let me ask you: was there some new announcements that caught your eye? Because there's one out of all these announcements, there's one in particular that I was so interested on your thoughts on if you were interested in this, and that is the return of Marathon. PvP extraction shooter. I know you love extractions, maybe not necessarily shooters, but you love extractions. Marathon, Bungie. Is this one that you were interested in? Because I thought of you first when that came out.
It's one of those where I was looking at it and it sounds exciting. I would like to be excited for it.
Yeah.
I want to know more.
I agree.
I've kind of this year in particular, I've kind of hit a point where I'm less excited to, or I'm less willing to get excited about something without knowing a little bit more about it. Because I've jumped on early on a bunch of stuff in the last year and been disappointed more often than not.
Yeah. No, I feel that.
But it is one that I will keep an eye on.
Okay. I signed up for the email newsletter, whatever, to stay up to date on it because I am curious. This was Bungie's roots. You know what I mean? This is Bungie before Halo was the Marathon trilogy. So the fact that it's coming back is super interesting. So the showcase led off with a new game called Fair Games by Haven Studio, competitive multiplayer heist game. I gotta say, I thought it was pretty interesting. That was the lead off of the show. I get it's Haven, but I still thought that was interesting.
It was, yeah. It's one of those where I look at it and it's like it could be something that they're hoping picks up steam, so they put it on as the opener.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you got to drop it in the middle and just kind of, it's gonna get washed away with some stuff that's in there that's gonna be probably exciting.
Yeah.
But not noteworthy exciting.
Right.
So I see this as something that they're hoping people latch onto.
I feel like that's how they're feeling about probably a lot of these. Is that they hope people latch onto it. Shout out to Helldivers 2, that getting announced. Second Helldivers. That was a pretty interesting and that was a funny, start to a trailer. I got another look at Immortals of Avium, which that's one that's still on my radar.
I don't know what the fuck is happening in that game.
It's just a first-person spellcasting war going on, man.
I will say, here's what I'll say after watching, seeing this larger trailer and gameplay and stuff that they showed for it. For me personally, it sounds better than it looks.
Okay, I can feel that.
The idea sounds better in my head.
Yeah.
From the description of it, it's not exactly what I was picturing. It looks, I mean, it looks good. It's just not what I had or would envision in my head when you put those descriptors out.
Right.
But I mean, it looks good. It just might be one of those where not necessarily my taste for the game, but could be a surprise for me because I've been hell. Most games I thought weren't going to be my thing this year have turned out to be my thing.
Shout out to Oolong. No, Immortals is one that's been on my radar since we got the big trailer for it 2 months ago. Yeah, that's one that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I will be excited to kind of see more stuff on it, and it'll be one when the game comes out, I'll definitely keep an eye on because it's like I said, it doesn't look like necessarily something I would be excited to play, but that could change the moment it comes out and I start looking at it because that's been the way of a few games this year.
And it also may help you where you may be interested just because of when it comes out, that mid-July range. We have really nothing scheduled.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're still if you end up completely falling in love with Final Fantasy 16 at the end of June, that may carry you over into July pretty well. But if you're mid-July, you got nothing going on. Immortals of Avium maybe.
I have a perfect example of a game, but I'm gonna save it for a little bit later. Okay. Of one that not excited for. It comes out, I see stuff on it, and I go, I want to play it.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Look at those luscious locks there. Yeah, man. The luscious locks are clean at the moment. Did yard work today, so I had to take a nice long hot shower, and my hair is currently clean, so it's very soft and it's very difficult to put up in any form or fashion whenever it's clean and soft.
Yep. It's gonna be It's gonna be me in a year.
Yeah, you'll get there.
I'm getting back.
Getting back. Yeah, I understand why you cut it off, but I'm glad you're growing it back. It looked so good on you, bro.
It's the one thing when you cut it off, everyone's gonna ask you why.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, shout out to Steve in chat. Then we also had Ghost Runners 2 announced, so shout out to that. And then this is probably one of the bigger ones that a lot of people are talking about. I've seen the most chatter, besides Spider-Man, of course. I've seen the most chatter out of this. Phantom Blade by S Game Studio. Some information I've got here for you. It's a 30 to 40-hour story, semi-open world map, multiplayer mechanics, roguelike elements, wealth of in-game and side content. The general premise seems to be a guy where like the whole trailer setup's like, if you only had like 60 days to live, whatever, how would you spend it? And just like, I don't know. This is one that caught a lot of people's eye.
I have a major problem with this game.
Okay, let's hear it.
We didn't get even a small hint at a release time.
Now, that is true.
And that makes me think this game doesn't exist.
I mean, there was a lot of gameplay.
There was a lot of stuff.
There was a lot of gameplay.
Well, there was a lot of stuff that they showed which looked good. But as we've learned over the years, that could all be stuff that they spent all of the time developing that for this trailer.
Right.
And that's the thing. It looks really good. I understand why it caught everyone's eye. But at the same time, I look at it and I'm like, it looks too good for us to not even get like a 2024 on it.
Literally nothing.
It's like we got nothing on it. No like demo shadow drop, no 2023. We didn't get anything relating to a release date, which that's my one concern.
And that's fair. That's a very valid point, honestly. You know, because like the fact that we can't even get like a 2024 general window, that is a little concerning. But then again, one thing that I noticed with multiple titles here is like, I don't think Sony's going to put them in a box of a release date, because even Spider-Man didn't get one. It's still sticking to their guns of fall 2023.
Yeah, but I mean that makes sense, because I mean realistically, there's a good shot that we get a 20-minute Spider-Man showcase.
Yeah, true.
In 2 months.
Yeah, I will say with that release window of fall 2023, whatever. For some reason, that tells me it's not going to be September, and I think it's going to be more like November.
I mean, that makes more sense.
Yeah. Like, if it was going to be September, I feel like you would have hammered that home, this week. You know what I mean? So the fact they didn't tells me it could be November. Anyway, next up we had Sword of the Sea, made by Giant Squid Studio. This by the developers that's done, like, The Pathless and Journey. So
they've got a style for a game.
They do, and they just stick with it, bro.
They got a style. People seem to love it, and they're like, "We'll do it slightly differently."
Yes.
Like we got a little bit of a twist on it.
Yep.
So I mean, hats off to them. People love those like kind of abstract games.
Yeah, they do. The Pathless and Journey especially are very, held in like a high regard.
Yeah, because I mean, hell, when Journey came out, it was like people were calling it damn near a masterpiece, and I was like, what?
What?
I was like, I didn't play it, but I watched some stuff on it. I was like, okay. After I watched a playthrough of it, I was like, I can see where people are coming from.
Yeah.
But it's those abstract kind of games. I mean, they nail them. I will say that they nail the atmosphere in them.
Yeah, 100%. Talos Principle 2 was also announced for this year. Neva, from the creators of Gus, that's coming out next year.
Which one was that?
It was a very artistic style of game involving, there was like, I think,
you are ready for the question.
I wasn't. The thing is though, I can picture the game art style in my head. I just can't picture anything else beyond it because it didn't catch my eye as like, oh, I'm interested in that. But I can see the freaking trailer in my head, where it's got like some woman and some animals, and she's
that one. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. See, I had it in my head.
I couldn't remember which one it was.
Then we also had Cat Quest, Pirates of Caribbean. Shout out to that.
Sure.
And then this one I thought was hilarious, in my opinion. We had Foam Stars being developed by Square Enix, coming to PS5 and PS4, which I thought that was pretty interesting. This is basically Splatoon.
Yeah, I mean,
100%.
It's Splatoon. Even the character designs, it's like we're gonna take Splatoon characters and just make them not like squids.
Yeah, basically.
So they're
Not
just like
squids.
I mean, it's bad. You can't. That's,
I mean,
that's,
yeah.
that's all I thought of when I saw the characters. It came on screen, and I was like, "This looks like Splatoon for some reason."
Yes, yes. But yeah, I thought that was an interesting announcement, especially since Square's the one who's doing it. Square, man, they just push their money into all sorts of titles. They don't give a shit if something
Square will
succeeds
do
or not.
whatever. If someone has an idea, they're like, "Yeah, sure, we'll back you."
Yeah, why not? You know, fuck it. We got another look at the Plucky Squire, which that's still a game that I'm actually really excited for. That game just looks fun. It looks stupid. I'm here for it. You know, that shout out to Devolver Digital on that one. Like that one just looks like a fun game. Got to look at Teardown as well. And then the next one was probably this. I would say the second biggest announcement, obviously, from this whole thing. Spider-Man still being one, but finally got the confirmed news of the remake of Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, which they have renamed to Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. The full remake of that, and then also the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection, which is a port up of 1, 2, and 3. Which I think this is the first time, like at least the first one for sure, has been ported up since I think PS3. I think they've been trapped on PS3.
They've been trapped there forever, which it is. I will say it is interesting that they've gone for a port up, because I feel like with Metal Gear, I feel like people were hoping more for a remaster, or like not a remake announcement. Or at least a remaster, but just a straight port up. I mean, great for people that still want to play those games or they want easier access to them, but it's one of those. I've never been a big Metal Gear guy, but I feel like the remake was where people were kind of hoping it was going to go towards.
Yeah, especially to the level that they're doing with Snake Eater.
Yeah.
I will say I've never been a Metal Gear guy. I've played like 2 hours of 5, and that's it. But I do plan to pick this up because I have more of an attachment to it, because like the Metal Gear franchise, especially this one in particular, Snake Eater, was like my uncle's favorite games in the freaking world. He's obviously no longer with us, so I definitely want to get these games and actually give them a legitimate shot, because of how much he loved them and talked about them. So I will be picking this up and playing it for the first time ever. So that'll be exciting. Steve also says when they remaster Metal Gear Solid 2, let me know. Well, Steve, let me ask you a question, because I have a thought on this, because I think like the Metal Gear games, they are all out of order of timeline order, right? Isn't Snake Eater like the first chronological game of the franchise? And then it kind of goes from there, because that could be a way they go with remakes or remasters, is kind of going that direction. I have no idea. I just know they're out of order, but I don't know which one's the first game. I don't, in terms of years and stuff. I have no clue. So maybe you can tell me. But that's something to think about. I could see multiple of these being remade over time.
It was a great trailer, though.
It was.
Like the lead in with like the snake and the crocodile and that.
Yeah.
And then coming back to like just going into the woods and that, and Snake just appearing. It was like, okay, all right.
Yep.
All right. It's like, not necessarily a big fan of the franchise, but you got the best trailer so far.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That trailer was sick, man. Next up, we had a game called Towers of Aghasba. I think I pronounced it right. Probably didn't, but that's a thing. Another look at Final Fantasy 16, which at this point, it's just like people are tired of seeing it. They just want a demo because the demo's coming.
We got more views on the kaiju battles, which was cool.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the demo's on the way. The demo's going to be like apparently like 2 hours, so that's not bad.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, at this point, I'm just waiting on the game to come out.
Yep. Yeah, that is a pickup for me. That weekend that it comes out, I unfortunately will not be here for the show. So I'm looking forward to hear you guys talk about it, but I am going to be getting the game.
I feel like that one is, for some reason, I'm excited for a Final Fantasy game. Never been excited for a Final Fantasy game in my life.
Do you think it's just because they switched up the formula for this?
Maybe. It might just be because of the way the combat and the art style looked.
Apparently,
when it initially came
it's
out.
like a Devil May Cry.
Yeah, I mean, it looked kind of like it,
right?
Because I remember like when the initial like trailer and that showed off, where they had some of the combat shown off, like I was coming off. I believe I was coming off of like playing Tales of Arise, and I was looking. I was like, that looks like fucking fun.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. Steve says Snake Eater is set in 1964. So yeah, that is the earliest game. Then I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. So I mean, if that is the case, and it is the earliest game, I mean, hey, they could be remaking them, man. You know, in chronological order. That's a possibility. So maybe you will get 2 eventually, whenever 2 takes place. I have no idea when. Then another look at Alan Wake 2. You know, a couple things on this that just kind of came out. You know, psychological survival horror. Can be played without playing the first game. 2 playable pro tags, Alan Wake and Saga Anderson. Their stories can be played in any order. Several handcrafted locations, Bright Falls, Calden Lake, and The Dark Place. But here's an interesting thing, though. No physical release. So Remedy said they're not doing a physical release so they can keep it at the $60 price point for console, $50 price point for PC. Basically saying if they did physical, it'd have to bump up to like $70. But then also, I think it was THQ Nordic, I think is who it was, chimed in and said, yo, we will front to make physical copies for you. Just let us know. We'll front that. And like the way that Remedy kind of presented it is that, you know, they're just in the boat that physical media is dying and they don't really want to do physical media anymore, which there's a couple things about this. Number one, that's very concerning where I feel like maybe this is the first rock dropped in the pond of more things to come, like notable titles where we may see notable titles. Alan Wake 2 is notable in my opinion. Just be digital only, which is concerning for someone like me. I know you don't give a shit.
Well, it's like I'm of that point of the opinion.
You're all digital,
there, but I don't like the idea of no physical copies because there are people that are always going to want them, and physical. It's like non-physical copies does not. It's like digital copies and digital only media caters more to someone like me, like where I have like whatever console I want to play it on at this point available to me with plenty of hard drive space available to me on said consoles or PC and that, and especially with like the size of games and everything nowadays with and that, like digital only media, if you don't have a fast internet connection as well, you're not going to be able to play that game when these games are coming out with 70 to 120 gig downloads. You're not going to be able to play that game on a slow internet connection.
Yeah, you're gonna have to start the
day
download.
Or two.
You're gonna have to start the download the day it comes out, and you'll be lucky to play it the next day.
Yeah, because I remember when I had slow internet, I would start like a 30.
You had to plan your downloads.
I would start a download when I left for work in the morning, and then and then I would come home at lunch to make sure that the console didn't shut off and go into power save mode. And then it might finish the download by the time I got home. And if not, I would just have to stop it because other people would need to use the internet. And then I would just start it overnight. So it's like, granted, fast internet speeds are readily available in most areas, but there are still plenty of places where they're not available.
Yeah.
So while I am a big supporter of always having digital versions of games or like digital deluxe editions, I'm a big fan of those. We're not at a point yet where we can fully abandon physical media.
I agree. And that's why this is such an upsetting thing to see happen. And then, like, it was funny because then people were, like, counterpointing them where they were using, like, Europe, for example. And they were using, like, multiple titles that had recently come out in Europe. And, like, physical and, like, digital sales are either split 50-50 or physical outsold it, including Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 physical outsold digital over in Europe. And like they named like 4 or 5 titles as like examples of like these are the sales like let's say in Europe like where physical media is still a powerhouse and you want to abandon it. I don't know. Like when I saw that I got very upset. Because like just to finally give you guys the middle finger. I wanted to play this game and say at least I played something of Alan Wake. But like no physical version, bro, that kills me. But hey, maybe THQ Nordic will come in clutch. They're wanting to. They're willing to do it.
Yeah. It's one of those where I give you a hard time about it for fun, but at the same time, I have no ill will towards anybody that likes having physical editions of games. It's like some games I like having a case for, but I don't want a large collection of cases.
I do. See, that's where me and you differ. I like having my shelf of everything. I love it. It makes me
that's
happy.
the thing. It's like I did away with my shelf a long time ago.
Yeah, I know you did. Did you just like boxed up all the games that you had physical? Like they just boxed up somewhere?
It's like no, because well they were, but I recently went through and pulled out like games that I would potentially want to play that I still had the physical editions for, and I have those out by my consoles for if I want to play them.
Fair enough. Well, we also got the release date for Alan Wake, October 17th. So, it'll come out. Maybe have a physical release. We'll see. We'll see if there's enough backlash from that where it'll actually happen.
It might be one of those where even after the fact, they may go, fine, fuck, you guys are killing us. We'll make one now.
Yeah, but it's going to be $70, just for a heads up. At this point, I don't think people would care if the game's $70. You know, I mean, I don't know. I just view it like a really just lazy reasoning. Like, I understand you want to keep the game cheaper, but like, you know, $70 is like an understood thing at this point. I feel like no one would really care, and they would get it at 70.
Also, I could be wrong here, but is this not also like a niche game?
It is, but it's very popular.
Yeah, I know. It's like, but it's one of these where it's like, if you're gonna put your foot down and try to fight for it, it's like, why are you doing this one?
Yeah,
it's like if you're gonna do the popular game, that's like it's kind of it's a kind of niche genre game that is a little more popular.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, come on, man, pick your battles.
Yeah, I know. Next thing we had was Assassin's Creed Mirage with its release date of October 12th. John, they're finally releasing it.
Gives a fuck.
Back to roots. Back to the roots, though.
I mean, here's the okay, here's one thing I will say from watching this trailer. For how long we've had to hear about this game, I thought it would look better.
Oh, no.
It doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look
what you would expect.
It doesn't look outstanding, which is what I would expect for a game that's been cooking for this long.
It doesn't look like, let's say, as good as Valhalla.
Yeah, it's like your other games where you spent half the time working on look better.
Yeah.
It's like, granted, yeah, you're going back to your roots, you're going back to your assassin style on that, which, I mean, I don't know, it may have been the video that I watched on it, but it didn't look the smoothest, like moving around still. That could just be the way those games, I could be misremembering how those games actually felt, but when you're having to do like the parkouring and that, and in like jumping between the beams and that, when I was watching, I was like, yeah, that looks like clunky old Assassin's Creed.
Looks like Assassin's Creed 2.
It's like not like looks wise, but like the way that it seemed like people were moving around and that, I was like, that's how I remember Assassin's Creed looking.
Yeah, true. Next thing that we had announced was Revenant Hill. This would be the Night in the Woods devs. And I do want to throw in a comment on this because my girlfriend is a massive Night in the Woods fan. And if you do not know about the story of what happened to the creator of Night in the Woods and stuff, I won't dive into it on the show. I just say go read it for yourself. It's a very unfortunate case. The original creator is just no longer with us, is the TLDR that I'll put here. So whenever she immediately did some digging on this game, like as soon as I showed her, she's just like, I don't know how to feel about that because of the situation that happened. So for anyone that is aware of the situation, let's say they haven't done any digging on it, this is strictly like the development team that worked with the original creator on Night in the Woods that are just kind of wanting to make a new game, like, you know, in his honor sort of thing. And they have made it very clear to studios and to anyone else, we will not be doing a Night in the Woods 2 because he is no longer here and no longer here to, you know, continue his vision. So I wanted to throw that out there because, like, you know, again, she's a massive Night in the Woods fan, and I know of the story because of just what she's told me, what happened to the developer and everything. So if you're a fan of this game and you didn't look into it either, maybe you can rest a little bit easier with this game and support it because it is the dev team that worked with him originally, completely making this game in, like, honor of him. So shout out to that. Next up, we have Grand Blue Fantasy Relink coming out in winter of this year. Another look at Street Fighter 6 coming out in like a couple weeks. Ultros coming out next year. Perfect World. Next up, Tower of Fantasy. And then Dragon's Dogma 2. Finally a look at it. It was like announced via like a t-shirt, but now we actually got the announcement.
This was probably the biggest surprise for me. I didn't think we were going to see anything Dragon's Dogma 2 till the end of the year.
Right.
But, I mean, looks great. Honestly.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's like, couldn't really say anything bad about it. It looks great.
No, it actually did. And like, diving into it more, single player narrative driven action RPG fantasy universe built on the RE engine, features the latest in graphics, AI and physics technology, new monsters and races. Create a character and choose a vocation, warrior, mage, and archer. AI pawn system returns. Feel as if accompanied by other players with your selected party of pawns. And then darkness is back. The world is pitch black when exploring that, requiring a land to enemies are also stronger. And then the trailer itself just looked really good too. And that's coming from someone who never even played Dragon's Dogma. I just knew about it, looked cool,
Yeah.
never got into it.
I think I played a couple hours of it.
Yeah.
And just never really gave it a shot.
Yep.
But, yeah. No, I mean, the new trailer looked great.
Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted 2, late 2023. We got some PSVR 2 stuff, including Resident Evil 4 VR. You want to play that with me, John? You wanna play Resident Evil 4 VR?
Yeah, sure. Get the VR.
All right, bet. I'll go get it tomorrow. Arizona Sunshine 2.
So
coming out in
I just may not answer some messages from you for a while.
Hey, John, got the VR. You want to play Resident Evil? 2 days later. Hey, John, I got the VR. You want to play Resident Evil? 3 days later. John doesn't show up to the podcast. Arizona Sunshine 2 coming out later this year. Crossfire Sierra Squad, Synapse, and Beat Saber. A shout out to Beat Saber coming to PlayStation VR 2. That's expected, but that is looks like a phenomenal game from everything I've seen. It's very well reviewed and everything. And then, as we already mentioned earlier, Marathon, Bungie is reviving their starting title. It is a PvP extraction shooter. Trailer, like we already chatted about. Trailer looked good. Just want to see more on it. And then we did have a brief trailer for Destiny 2, the final shape, with the return of Cade 6. So I hit up Jacob about this because Jacob is still an active Destiny player.
I didn't really watch this part of the showcase.
Yeah.
I saw like Destiny start to come up. I was like, okay. And then I tuned back in and I saw Cade 6. I was like, what?
Yeah, exactly. So I hit him up and I asked him, is this something that was like seen coming? Because I haven't played the expansion since Cade died. And, or do you think this probably just happened because maybe they're going in a direction to like kind of like retire, Zavala because Lance Reddick passed away, of course. And he's just like, yeah, there was literally no indication this was going to happen. And Jacob's like, personally, I hate it because it feels like his death was completely meaningless. I understand the, wanting to bring him back just because it's like, maybe you don't want to recast, Zavala or whatever because of Lance Reddick passing away. I know he still had some lines recorded that will still be used, but I feel like they probably just want to retire, him. Yeah. And then I guess bring back Cade in whatever form they're going to bring back. I mean, Cade's cool. Glad he's coming back, I guess. But at the same time, I'm also not glad he's coming back, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird, but
yeah. Next up, game called Concord by Firewalk and PlayStation Studios coming out next year for PS5 and PC. Then we had a movie trailer for Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo movie trailer.
Skipped over that.
Yep. And then coming up, wrapping things up, had 2 quick announcements. And then, of course, we had 10 minutes of gameplay of Spider-Man. So the first one was that handheld device that's been rumored and chatted about and leaked called Project Q. The remote play device with DualSense controls. It's got an 8-inch screen.
This thing looks fucking weird.
And it only has a rumor of 3 to 4 hours of battery life. And I'm willing to bet you right now it's going to be like $250.
This thing looks awkward.
Looks stupid.
It's basically you have like, it's like they took the DualSense 5, took it in half, and then just put a 8-inch screen in the middle of it.
Yes, that's exactly what it looks
and
like.
I'm like, oh, okay.
It's not even like all meshed together where where it's like you can see it being a handheld device. It's literally the way you explained it.
Yeah, I mean it's like they just took it.
Yes.
It's like we're gonna take the handle portion of it, move it out, and screen.
Yep. It looks so stupid, bro. And like I said, only rumored like 3 to 4 hours of battery life, and I promise you this thing's gonna be like $200 to $300.
I'll tell you right now, if this thing is $150, I'm going to hate it, but I'm going to buy it.
You know, I'm with you, man. I was telling the lady, I was like, look, if this thing's like $100, I'm buying it.
If this thing is like $100 to $150,
I'm buying it.
I'm going to buy it. I'm not going to be happy about it, but I'm going
I
to buy
agree.
it.
I'm right there with you.
Because you know how nice it would be to lay in my bed and pull this thing out.
And play God of War or something. Play Marvel Spider-Man 2.
Play Spider-Man. It's like play like Final Fantasy 16 or something when it's out. You know how nice that would be to do?
Steve also said it looks like quote video game system with 250 games that you get from the Chinese flea market. Fucking facts, dude.
You know what this thing looks like? If you took a Wii U and just made it where it was two handles instead of just holding on to the side of a brick.
True. Oh, jeez. This thing looks so stupid.
Here's the thing. It looks dumb. This thing's gonna fucking sell.
I know it is.
Purely, it's like it's not a actual handheld. It's just
Yeah.
a streaming device. But you know how many people are gonna buy it just so they can, like, especially because if you can remote play, like I'm playing, pick this up and it just syncs exactly where I was at to it. If it can do that, this thing's gonna sell like fucking crazy.
I know.
Just for people when they go to the bathroom.
That's true. Oh my god.
If
that's true.
if it works like that, this is gonna be the greatest streaming gaming thing we've ever had. But it's gonna be dumb.
Yeah, in the middle of an FPS game. Oh, gotta take a shit. Let me grab my Project Q. Oh, Jesus Christ. I hope it's at a friendly price point.
I do too. If this thing is above $200, it's like nobody's gonna buy it.
Yeah, no, it's not gonna.
If
sell
it's 100,
quickly.
I feel like 150 is reasonable
I do too.
because 150 is basically the price of buying like the DualSense Edge
That's true. Yeah.
or like an Xbox Elite controller. You spend that money on it, and you get a streaming device you can go like you can walk around and play with. That seems fair. Anything more than that, and it gets a bit much.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. Now, if you tell me that I can get a dub while taking a dump, we may have a conversation. I mean, that's what this basically is, man. Especially if it's like what John said. Basically, look, it's like this. If this thing can go between whatever you're doing real time to that device real time, similar to pulling a switch out of a dock.
That's what I was imagining.
Yeah, then this thing's going to be great.
If it works like that, this thing is awesome. If it doesn't work like that,
and there's like a startup and
yeah,
shit.
then it's terrible.
Yeah.
If like you have to turn it on, if you turn it on when you're in the middle of it, and it's like, do you want to take control?
Yes.
Then it's awesome.
Yes, but if you gotta like set it up, sync it, all that bullshit, this thing sucks.
Yeah.
So we're gonna keep our eye on it. That's the bottom line here.
I'm keeping an open mind because if it's reasonable, I'm gonna buy it.
I mean, I am too. I've already, like I said, I told my girlfriends, like, look, if this thing's like $100, 150, I'm buying it. It's stupid, but I'm buying it at least for that price. I'm not going higher. But watch, it's gonna be like right at 200. It's gonna be 200, I think, to 300. That's what I think it's gonna be. Which I think is stupid.
It's like at that price point, I'm not getting it.
Hey, maybe that could be like a Black Friday thing where it goes down to 150.
That'd be stupid.
Could be a thing though. Be likely. Then the other quick announcement is PlayStation earbuds. So shout out to that.
I hate that I'm interested in these.
John, no. You know the funny thing is, whenever
it's not even that I like the way they look or like the way they.
You just like earbuds.
I do just like earbuds.
As soon as I saw them, I thought that I was like, oh, John's gonna want these.
And I'm curious.
I knew it. I knew it.
I'm curious how well they would work.
I knew it. I knew you would want these. Jesus Christ.
They had a cool case too.
All right, calm down, man. All right, next up, of course, Spider-Man 2, the big one. We kicked off with a nice like CG trailer for Kraven, revealing that he is, of course, in the game. Which I don't know if that was just leaked or if Insomniac said he was. Obviously, the name's been floated. I want to say Insomniac may have just told people, yeah, he's in the game, but we just hadn't seen him yet. So we got to finally see him, see his look for the game, looks sick. And then they hit us with a 10-minute gameplay trailer, which looked incredible. From the looks of it, from when it picks up, is probably right around when Peter gets the black symbiote suit, based on like Miles's reaction. It was like, "Hey man, new threads,"
Yeah,
like kind of confused.
that's also like, yeah. I mean, that's basically where it looks.
Yeah,
Like, that's at least where like this gameplay and everything picked up from, which is interesting. Because, or I'm liking the way it's looking because I don't know if, well, we didn't quite get the feeling of if it was the suit or something else that is, but Peter is aggressive.
yes,
So that'll be fun to explore.
yeah. I can't wait to explore that story arc of the symbiote. Whenever it came to the black suit not being in the first game, Insomniac said it's literally because they wanted to give that suit its proper due for a story, not just throw it into a game. And that's like the big focus of this game, obviously. Venom was the original reveal of the game. The symbiote suit is going to be the major focus of this. And even, the interesting thing that I noticed immediately, because I thought of Spider-Man 3 and I thought of some stuff in comics and stuff. Whenever this was said, is like Peter is obviously different, as he should be. The symbiote suit corrupts him. Obviously we know this. He's more aggressive, whatever, but it still feels like he's there because whenever Lizard is rampaging, Peter made the comment, he's the only one that can help. And as we've seen in like Spider-Man 3, Peter brought that symbiote to Dr. Connors in the movie. And it's the same thing in like some comic stuff. Dr. Connors has been kind of involved in some capacity. So that's going to be interesting to explore, where there's going to be those two different Peters, kind of battling. And then also just the relationship with Miles and how else then, this is going to continue to be explored.
Yeah, because with the symbiote suit and everything, combat for Peter is looks a lot different.
Reminds me of Venom from Ultimate Spider-Man back in the day.
It's a lot of different like moves, attacks, and like being able to grab onto multiple enemies because of the way the suit works, which look cool. And then Miles is a wizard.
You talking about the flying?
Well, the flying,
the web wings.
Well, they both had that.
Yeah, they both had web wings.
They both had that.
I'm so glad
it's
that's
like
in the game.
That and shooting electricity at people and everything. Yeah, Miles is just a wizard.
Yeah,
and disguising as a neighborhood Spider-Man.
I cannot stress enough how happy I am the web wings made it into the game. When you could find them in the first game in one of the backpacks, and Peter made the comment. He's like, "Oh yeah, I never could make these. I could get these to work. Maybe I should try again." I'm glad they made it because that looks so cool.
Yeah, and it seems to be. It seems like it's going to be a heavy emphasis of part of the traveling around as well.
Yeah,
because that was the only annoying thing in the first game is if you got to somewhere where there weren't high buildings and stuff, when you got into kind of like the lower areas, traversal was a little more difficult.
Yeah.
So being able to like just kind of glide around would be nice.
And Insomniac made a comment on that became an option and a thing all literally just because of PS5 utilizing SSD, which makes sense. Yeah. Or the NVMe, whatever. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, just like the being able to load everything faster.
Yeah. So overall, like, there was the instant switch between Peter and Miles, which that's super cool. New abilities across the board, and also new locations. Because, like, as you saw from the map when they're loading in with Kraven and his team, it loaded up beyond the normal area that we've come to know of New York. Like, we're going to be able to confirm for Brooklyn, Queens, East River, and more. So there's new locations for us, which is cool.
We can actually go over the water now, too.
Yes, we can actually go over the water. We can actually go to the other side, so that's cool. I do like how it kind of went through and just immediately highlighted a bunch of characters that are in the city. Because I also noticed that it highlighted Prowler, even though I think he's like arrested right now based on I think what happened in Miles. Black Cat, who's currently MIA. I did not rewatch this part, the Kraven part. I rewatched the gameplay like 3 times. I don't know if they had Yuri on there because Yuri's story is going to take a dive. So I'm looking forward to how Yuri's story is going to be involved.
I meant to go back and actually watch that portion of it to see who all showed up because I only caught a brief couple glimpses of it.
Yeah. And like I said, this is confirmed for still fall for this year, no release date. Which I feel like again, if it was going to be September, I feel like you would have hammered that home. This showcase that tells me it may be November. But I mean, the amount of gameplay that we got and the gameplay itself, like, dude, this whole thing is like 10 out of 10. Like I'm so pumped up for Spider-Man 2 right now. I'm so ready for this game. I don't think it'll be better than Tears of the Kingdom for me, but it's going to be damn good of a game.
I'll play it.
I know you will.
I'll play it. Again, excitement level. I've only got like games still projected to come out this year. I only have one that's up here, and it's because it cannot disappoint because it's been in early access for almost 3 years.
Dark and Darker.
No, that's Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh, yeah, true.
That's why I said it's still projected to come out this year.
Okay, that's what, August or September?
Yeah, August.
Okay, that's fair. Did you ever play Miles Morales?
I've started it. I never beat it.
No, okay.
But it's
a
on
quick
my
beat.
it's on my list of stuff to do. It's just a couple hours.
Yeah, it's a quick beat. You can get it done in probably a single day off, honestly.
Yeah, it's one that I haven't done, but I think I have it installed because I had the plan to go through it soon.
Now, Sony and I think Insomniac did also say that here very soon they're going to be announcing like pre-order stuff for it and everything like that. So all that information is going to come out soon, and I'm going to be hopping on that quick. Like I want to get whatever special edition they've got, because I didn't get shit for the original game. I think for the original game, I was so broke at the time. I think I had to go to GameStop and trade in like 5 games just for me to be able to get the base copy. So I do wish I could have got some.
Yeah, because I think because that came out when I was still living with you.
Yeah.
And I think because I don't think you got it as soon as it came out.
Nope.
Because I was like halfway through beating it when you started playing.
I know, which is so weird for me, right? This is the diehard Spider-Man fan. Wasn't even able to get the game day one. It's unfortunate, but yeah, whatever special edition stuff they've got, I'm snagging. Now if they hit me with a PlayStation, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
I don't think they'll hit you with a PlayStation.
They did with the first game. That's why I'm concerned.
I don't know if. Well,
there was a Spider-Man PS4, so that's why I'm concerned. Like,
I
hope they go the route they did with Final Fantasy and just
do a bundle.
Just give me the plates. Just give me the face plates. Let me just change it out. Don't make me buy a whole new fucking console when the only decorative piece can be popped off.
Yeah, because they're doing a Final Fantasy 16 PlayStation bundle, but it's just the base console with the game. And it's like, okay, well, that's cool, but give me something cool. Give me that Final Fantasy 16 controller that Japan's getting.
Oh my god, I know. That controller looks so sick. I saw some photos of it recently out in the wild, in Japan, of course, and it just looks so awesome. God, I want that controller too. Maybe one day it'll come to us, but probably not.
Probably not.
No.
We would have already got the announcement.
Yeah, I know. But overall, though, the showcase I thought it was kind of mid. I mean, I think that C-, C+, whatever is a good range.
It's like there were a couple games I didn't shout them out where you were going through because I couldn't remember the names of them. I'd have to go back and watch the showcase again. There were a couple like 2D kind of like adventure games or like kind of Souls like games, stuff like that. Those look cool. They caught my eye, but not enough for me to be like they were more of just those look interesting.
Yeah.
So.
And the interesting thing, though, is a lot of insiders have said that Sony held back with this showcase. So I thought that was kind of an interesting comment.
Yeah, I mean, it could just be something where they're like, we'll do another showcase in a couple months or something,
Which would be a shocker.
But
considering the last one they did was like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, I mean, I would kind of hope that they would do another one, at least like at some point this year. I don't even care if it's about, because now we know what's coming out soonish.
Yeah,
we know what's going on for this year, and maybe leading into some of next year.
Yeah.
Where's our showcase for like all the cool shit we know you got going on that we're not seeing until 2025?
Right.
It's like, show us that, because you
show us Wolverine. Show us more
it's
of
like
that.
You announced stuff like 2 years ago, like Wolverine and stuff like that.
Yep.
It's been a year or two since you announced that stuff. Just give us a trailer.
Yeah, give us something.
It's like, give us a trailer with a rough release date, or like a rough release year. Even if you put like 2026 ? Or like in parentheses, probably.
Probably. Oh,
I feel like more companies should do that. People get kick out of that. At least we'd go, okay, we know it might come out then.
I would enjoy that.
It's like I would prefer that than you show me a like a trailer for a game, and it's like we're gonna make this. It's like, okay, well, we know you don't have a name for the game. We know you haven't started working on it. You don't have a development team. You don't even have money for it. Why are you showing it to me?
Yeah. That's just like the norm now, though.
I know.
I've
said before, I fucking hate it.
I hate it too, man. Like, I love cases like Nintendo Directs where, like, most of the time, like, whatever they show you is coming out within 6 months.
At least Nintendo it's like they're guilty of it, but they're rarely guilty of it.
Yeah.
And usually, if they're guilty of it, it's because something went horribly wrong.
True. That is prime forward.
Yeah. It's like it's either prime forward or like I don't know what happened with Bayonetta 3, but it was just like
Platinum.
That was Platinum at one point. They're just like, yeah, we're just waiting on them to tell us we could release the game. We've been done for a while.
Yeah, I know. Nintendo's weird about that. They love putting games in their back pocket.
Yeah.
I mean, apparently the Prime Remaster's been done for like 2 years, and then it finally came out.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like people will be waiting on it. It's like Platinum was sitting there going, you know, it's been 5 years, right?
Yeah.
Nintendo goes, oh, you're right. We should probably release that.
Jesus Christ. Steve said like Diablo 4 with theirs coming sometime in the future before we got the release date for it. True. I like that stuff like that. Just like what John said, just put the year and then print it.
Yeah,
Probably.
It's like because in your board meetings or something, you're telling them a date.
Yeah.
You're going, even if it's just 2020, it's like we're aiming for 2025. Put 2026 because then if you put it in 2025, you look better.
Exactly. I agree. Big brain mindsets, man. But yeah, overall showcase, it was okay. Spider-Man obviously took away with it. There were some cool announcements, but it didn't blow us away.
It's like a couple highlights.
Yeah.
It's like there was a couple cool things in there, but overall, kind of, it was kind of just okay.
All right. Well, let's chat some Zelda. How you been enjoying Zelda? You actually got through a couple temples, which was impressive.
A temple.
Oh, you haven't finished the second one. Never mind.
No, I have gotten distracted.
Okay. I noticed you haven't been online for a few days.
No, I've been playing some of the Celeste DLC that came out, and then I've been playing a lot of Across the Obelisk. I'm still fucking hooked on that game. But yeah, now I'm somewhere around 20 hours into Zelda, roughly around where you were when you talked about it.
That's impressive, though.
It's probably a little less than that. It's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 20 because the last I checked was 12, and I know I've played some since then. Here I'm gonna lead off with because I haven't talked to you hardly at all.
No.
I've just messaged you a few brief things.
Yep.
Because I was like, he wanted a few pieces of information. I've asked you some question stuff, but this game is still not my style. It's not the style of Zelda game that I still prefer.
Fair
I
enough.
still prefer the old tradition, like the older style, games from like Nintendo 64, GameCube,
More
stuff
compact world. More...
I prefer the more compact world where you have more defined objectives that you're moving towards instead of open. You could go do this temple way over here and go into this area if you want to, but if you do that, you're playing a Souls game.
True.
Because I mean, honestly, until I had like four or five, or yeah, somewhere around like 5 hearts, everything in the game one shots you.
Yep.
Which is fucking infuriating.
Yep. You're gonna get hit with a lot of game overs, and you just gotta learn to dodge and get good, I guess.
But yeah, I will say I prefer the more compact world games still. I do enjoy open world type games for the most part. I've been in this trend where I haven't liked them recently.
True.
I've been enjoying this one for the most part. This is not my favorite Zelda game of all time, but I understand why this is everybody's favorite Zelda game of all time.
Yeah.
Because this game, like you said, it lets you do whatever the fuck you want, however the fuck you want to do it.
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest things I love about it.
My single biggest complaint with this game is the same problem that I had with Breath of the Wild. I fucking hate the weapon breaking system.
Oh my god,
The durability system
pisses me off.
The durability system is ass.
It pisses me off.
I fucking hate it. And I understand that yes, once you work your way up into the higher tier enemies and that your weapons last a long time, especially when you're fusing them together with the high tier components. I understand they last a long time. I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
So it's like that. I'm like the early portion is particularly brutal with it. Your weapons last like you get a new weapon and it lasts long enough to kill 1.5 enemies.
Yeah.
Which was pissing me off. It's like the fusing is cool. It's like I kind of enjoy the fusing, but it does kind of become a thing where you're like, every time I get this weapon, I'm gonna fuse this to it, or like the higher tiered version.
Did you make a skateboard yet?
I probably have one. I don't know. I live underground.
Oh, so you got down to the depths.
I live underground.
The
these
depths
days.
is so cool, dude. I've been spending a lot of time in the depths recently.
I just like. I'm not. I don't play this game fast either. I'm very slow at everything that I do. Like I'm down in the depths. Because I went down to the depths, and then I made my way over to where you get auto build.
Yeah.
And then they're like, you do the like little boss fight and that, and then they go away. And it's like, okay, well, we need to go get them at like the south facility or something. I started going that way. I haven't made it over there yet because I just keep running. Every time I see like one of the routes down there, I start heading towards whichever one I see first.
Yeah.
So it's like my path down there is just like a fucking zigzag line,
Right.
because whichever one I see, I'm like, that's my direction now.
Yep.
And I've just been exploring around. But yeah, I've spent a decent amount of time underground. It's just, I don't know. It's fun. It's fun down there.
It is fun. It is very fun.
It's
I
fun.
love the depths.
It's fun. It's creepy. I like it.
That's my favorite part of the game, honestly.
But yeah, it's like I've been enjoying the depths more than anything else so far. But yeah, I've done the Wind Temple.
Good temple. Good boss.
I mean, I texted you about it. Man, it's like that temple is very simple, but it made me feel stupid because I kept looking at the path that I needed to go to get the final, like little unlock to basically summon the boss. I was staring at it for like an hour, but I'm running around the ship because I'm like, yeah, of course I went that way, and I didn't go that way. I passed by it 6 times and just assumed I went that way already.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall temple. I mean, it's not too complicated. It's a fucking long way to get to it.
Oh, I loved it though.
God damn, it took forever to get there.
Yeah. Okay. So
It took okay, here's the thing. The path to get there was really cool.
yeah,
It took way too long.
that is still probably the longest one. I would say the shortest is the Goron one.
As soon as I go back up to the surface world, I'm going to that temple.
Fire Temple looks so cool.
Yeah, it's like as soon as I make my way back to the surface, which I'm probably gonna do some of that tomorrow. But yeah, as soon as I make my way back to the surface, basically until I just run out of arrows.
Yeah.
So I like for shooting the bright blooms. So as soon as I run out of arrows, I'll go back to the surface.
Yeah. Wind Temple is still my favorite from the game. My second favorite, even though it was pretty easy, I just really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the puzzles that were in there, and I really liked the boss fight. Lightning Temple would be my second favorite.
I fucking hate shrines, by the way.
I love the shrines in this game.
I fucking hate
I
shrines.
love them.
I'm dumb.
You can just do it however you want.
What? No. There are shrines, Alex. You know which one made me the most mad? It's a shrine. There's a 3-block tall, 4-block wide, and like rectangular structure, and then there's one that's incomplete and has 3 pieces that are weirdly shaped, and you have to fit it in there to make it right. It's a child puzzle.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
It took me 20 minutes.
John. Oh my god.
I am. It's like it's little things like that where I'm like, I'm looking at it and it's like, it's like the problem is when I find the solution I'm like, oh, I just had to rotate this thing like one turn and I'm done. But I'm sitting there and I'm just staring at it like this just doesn't work.
This is a fuck up in the game development.
Those are the shrines those are shrines that are pissing me off because it's like simple shit. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm sitting there. I'm like, man, these child puzzles are really stumping me right now.
I love the puzzles, dude.
But it's like it's like some of them are, you know, what shrines I really like. It's the ones that you walk into
And you get the thing.
and you get the thing. You don't have to do anything.
Raru's blessing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like those. But no, in all seriousness, some of the shrines are okay. It's like they're just.
It's better than the Sheikah ones, in my opinion.
I don't know what those were like, but these are. It's like these shrines. It's like. It's a lot of the same stuff, but so far I haven't had to do the exact same thing twice.
See, that's why I didn't like the Sheikah shrines. Is because like with the abilities in the first game, it was just copy and paste for the most part.
Okay.
In this one, you can do what you like. Whatever the correct way is, you can do it a dumb way to do it.
I will say I do appreciate some of the shrines where you go into it and it's the challenge shrines where they take away everything.
Oh yeah, the proving ones.
It's like the proving ones, and then it's like you get in there and it's like, okay, here is what you have to work with. Go beat it. Because one of those is when I text you, and I text Alex and I'm like, because I like walk in and there's one enemy and there's these two little like robot cart things that you can put spikes on. So I just attach spikes to them and they just seek out enemies. And I was like, I text Alex. I was like something along the lines of, I'm hiding outside of a doorway while my two spiked Roombas clear out a room very slowly.
That's true.
And I was just like, what is this game? Because I didn't do anything in that room. I know that there's other like little robots you can make and put like fire and shit on them and put cannon stuff. I was content. I just let my little Roombas do their thing.
Yeah. Did it work?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
that's all that matters.
It took a while,
but it worked
because they'd knock them off a ledge, and then the little robots get a little dumb about pathing, so they just go in circles for a bit. But yeah, I mean they cleared it out, but yeah, it's like some of the shrine stuff. It's like the shrines more than anything. It's like they're not. I wouldn't call them fun, but they're not. It's like if I see one, I'm like, yeah, I'll go do the shrine. It's like it's not going to be a joy to do, but I'll do it.
Right.
It's kind of just like one of those things where I'm like, well, if I'm gonna play the game, I have to do the shrine, so I might as well do the shrine whenever I see it.
I went on a brief streak where I would just hit shrines for the teleportation point and leave.
I couldn't make myself do that because
I did that for a while.
I never wanted to go back.
I did that for a while because I was like mentally busy with something going around the world. I was busy on a project. And now I've since gone back and it's like hitting shrine after shrine after shrine, just racking up orbs.
Do you understand my problem now?
I do,
because I'm like objective found going that way. Hey, there's a shrine over there, and then I see a shrine there from there, and there's a tower I need to go hit. And then while I'm in the tower, there's an island over there I can fly to that I haven't been to yet. Oh, hey, it's one of the challenge islands. Let's go do that.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's my life. I go from point to point to point to point, and I end up halfway across the map from where I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I get nothing accomplished.
I will say I do want to add on something since the last time I talked about the game a couple weeks ago. Is one thing that I continue to find that I just love about this game, and Breath of the Wild did it too, but Breath of the Wild was very in your face about it. Like as the game was coming out, they were saying, yeah, if you just want to get a stick off the Great Plateau and immediately go beeline to the castle and fight Ganon, you fucking can. This one is not as subtle. Like it's not as in your face about it. It's more subtle where there's so many aspects of the game that you can do immediately, but they just don't tell you like last time. So my one question I did have is, can you go fight Ganondorf right off the bat? Basically, yes. Once you get your paraglider, you can go straight to Ganondorf if you know where he is. And then here's the thing that I thought was funny. So I know I told you about this, but I don't remember if I talked about it on the podcast. I was flying around and I went to an area that looked super cool, super mysterious and shit. As soon as I got there, I couldn't fucking see. It was pure fog, like thick ass
Yeah,
fog.
you mentioned that.
Okay. Could not see. Took me like 2-3 minutes to get off the freaking island. Here's the funny thing I've now come to find out about that. That's a very like important late game main story thing. And here's the thing, if I would have somehow navigated my ass through that fog, and if I would have had enough hearts to push open a door, I could have initiated that story right then and there. Like, and that blows me away that it's just like, that's so cool that part of the game I could have done right then and there. Like, because it gives you something. I'm trying to avoid spoilers on that because I've noticed the internet has definitely avoided spoilers on that as well, being respectful. But like the thing that it gives you is technically supposed to be an in-game thing, but you can get it right off the bat. It can be your first one if you want it to get. So I thought that was so cool when I found out. Yeah, you can do that literally at the very beginning if you wanted to. And the hilarious part about it to me as well, with the island I landed on, there's a large stretch of islands, right? One stretch of it is called one name. The final part is a different name. The final one is the one I landed on. Like the final island of this large stretch, the key island is the one that I landed on, like before I even beat the freaking Wind Temple, the first temple of the game for me. And it's like, if I would have just navigated my happy little ass through there, one, I could have just got a shrine real quick to teleport back up. And two, if I would have had enough hearts to push open another door, I could have initiated a quest line like right off the bat that's supposed to be an in-game fucking thing. So that's just an absolutely fascinating aspect of the game development for this. It's just like, you can literally just do whatever you want. And I think that's so fucking cool.
You know one thing about this game? I fucking hate the sky.
The sky is lackluster from all the hype they got up to. The depths are cool as fuck, but the sky is like so-so.
I fucking hate the sky because you gotta like fucking go. You gotta shoot yourself up in the air, and then you gotta try to fly over. You gotta try to paraglide your happy ass over somewhere, or you gotta build a fucking plane. I don't want to build a fucking plane, so I'm trying to glide everywhere and climb my happy ass up, and it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, no, there are some islands that are so far away where I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna need like a. The thing is, like, even if you have like a shit ton of battery cells, whatever, it's like the gliding thing that you can build a plane on with like, you know, with a steering wheel and shit. Like, it's gonna end up tapping out at some point before you even get there. So it's like there are some islands that I look at, I'm like, how the fuck do you get there? Because they're far off and they're high. So I'm just like, how do you get there? I do not know. I still see that all the time. There are some that I've still definitely not been to because I don't know how to get to it.
I don't know. I've seen people build multi-stage rockets.
Yeah, I could do that.
So you just build that and you
Straight to the moon, baby.
Yep. Just go as high as the game will let you go.
Yeah.
And you can get to anywhere you want to as long as you got enough stamina food.
Yeah, true. No, I mean, this is all I've been playing. I had family in town recently, so I was busy hanging out with them. But any chance I got some free time, this is all I've been doing. I love it. It's amazing.
I've been enjoying it. I will say some of the tedious parts of the game have been one. I don't know if they just expect you to have done a lot more exploring. I feel like I did a decent amount of exploring because I ran around for about 10 hours before I went to the Wind Temple.
Right.
And then I went and beat the Wind Temple. And then did a couple more hours of exploring, and then made my way over to the Goron place to try to go do the Fire Temple. But you need the fire resistance, so I was like, oh, I'll just buy the fire resistance armor real quick. That way I don't have to worry about having food the whole time. It's fucking expensive. It's expensive if you ain't been exploring.
No, it is. Yeah. No, shit racks up, dude.
So that was frustrating. What version of the game are you playing on?
Not 1.1.2. I was curious if you were going to ask if I was doing that. Yes, I am using the duping.
I am. I'm not duping like a bunch of crazy shit. I'm duping diamonds.
Yep. Duping a shit ton of diamonds. Are you just doing the paraglide one?
What's that?
Are you doing the paraglide
Yeah.
one? Yeah.
It's like
The
I was
BX,
just,
BY,
that's
whatever.
basically I was just duping diamonds so that I had as much money as I could possibly want.
Yep.
Everything. It's like a few diamonds, a few like materials, and I'm like, that's all I need. It's like
Yeah.
I don't need anything crazy. I'm not going through like trying to duplicate everything to 999. I don't want to do that. I don't want to set the time and try to duplicate weapons and shit. I'm not worried about that.
Right.
Like that stuff will come. I'll come across stuff. I've been able to make my way through so far with my shitty weapons. I'll just take 10 minutes to fight stuff.
There are some rare materials that I also have been duping. Like I've been duping the dragon parts. I don't want to do the dragon parts over and over again.
I've seen a dragon.
I've been on all of the dragons.
I've seen a couple of them. Scared the shit out of me when I saw one in the depths for the first time.
Yeah, you text me that. Yeah, when I found out they go to the depths, I thought that was so fucking cool.
I was underground and I'm like working my way to one of the roots, and then
Yeah.
a shadow starts passing over me. I'm like, the fuck is up there?
Yeah, dude, I love that they go to the depths, and honestly, it makes sense because like I don't remember where like Nidra or Dinral spawns in Breath, but I know Farash spawns out of a fucking like one of the lakes up in the Farron region. So like in theory, he could have been down in the depths, and he's coming up.
I don't know. Dinral or whatever you said.
Yeah, Dinral.
It's the only motherfucker I seem to take a picture of because he's the one I took a picture of in the depths, and then when I was down there for a while, made my way back up, and I was going to the Goron place. I'm like climbing a mountain. Like we're just traveling through the mountains and stuff. I round the corner, and he's like coming straight at me, and I'm like, this will make a good picture.
So my pictures that I've been taking for the dragons is I've been getting up on their nose and taking a selfie where Link's like, oh look where I am. That's the pictures I've been taking of them.
But yeah, overall, I mean, I've been having a decent time. Like I said, it's been like if you kind of just go all over the place. I also don't have the combat experience or exploration knowledge from Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
So it's very different from what I'm used to playing. And it's I think that the initial path I went on, I just started going out. Fucking enemies were hard where I was at.
Oh yeah.
So I just turned around and went back.
That's fair.
That's
fair.
It's like I'll come back here later.
I mean, I've done that plenty of times. Like whenever I went to the water temple, I definitely had to turn water temple. I tried to make my first temple just because I wanted to go to the Zora area. And yeah, I was getting destroyed once we got up in the sky, destroyed. And I'm just like, I'm gonna come back. We'll go to the Rito village after all, which obviously I don't regret. The ability that you get from Tulin is fantastic for traversals. I don't regret that in the slightest. But
There's also weird shit all over the map because there was.
yeah.
I was out just exploring and running around, and then I sent you that picture. And I was I'm just like I crest this hill, and it's just a giant block structure out in the water.
Yeah.
I just text a picture to Alex like, the fuck is that?
Amazed. I just completed one maze earlier. I completed the maze that's in the sky over in the Gerudo area. Because you got, like, basically wherever a maze is, you also have a maze up in the sky.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't know how to get up sky.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to get up there, so then I got distracted. I did learn something nice. Or I think it worked this way on a different one that I tried, because up in the sky, like some of the shrines and that, like you'll see where a shrine is supposed to be, and it'll be like, go find my crystal.
Yeah.
I did one of them, and then I just left. Or it's like I was doing one, and then I got annoyed because I dropped the crystal, and it fucked off.
True, fair.
So I was like, I'm not even gonna go look and see if it's back. And then I did a different one, and it was actually I enjoyed it a little bit more because I had to like jump over, and there was this giant dome thing in the sky that had a little spring launcher on it. I had to launch myself over there. I had to do it a couple times because I kept dropping the spring, or it kept dropping the crystal.
Mm-hmm.
So it respawned back over there. So I'm fucking hoping that the other crystal that I dropped is over there, because otherwise, bitch might be in the ocean.
It probably did respawn.
I didn't go look.
You're probably good.
I was like, I am, because I jumped down to go look for it. I was like, I am not going back up there.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. There are definitely times where I fuck something up like that. And I'm like, all right, yeah, we're gonna do this later. I don't want to fuck with this right now.
Yeah, I was like, I was already frustrated trying to deal with this thing because I was way down low and I had to fucking rocket myself up and rocket over, and I was like, if it's not there, I'm just gonna be mad.
Yeah. I haven't decided when I'm gonna go fight Ganondorf. I kind of want to go like start the fight and then just reload. You know, I just want to see what it's like where he's at, because you can't get to where he's at except one entrance. Like I've looked, I've gone down in the depths and I've looked. So
Is he in the depths?
Yeah.
I assume so, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, he's in the depths, and you can only get to him like underneath Hyrule Castle. Obviously, I don't feel like that's a spoiler considering like the beginning of the game, they're under fucking Hyrule Castle. Like, just use common sense.
I don't know where the fuck I am right now. I'm way south.
So I do kind of want to go down in the depths where Hyrule Castle is, just because I already briefly looked online. Like, if I go down there, is he just there? Or do I have to go through some stuff? I do have to go through some stuff. So I just kind of want to go see what it's like. I don't know if I may start the fight and then just reload, because I don't want to beat the game yet. But I do kind of want to go down there and check it out. Just to see what's going on. But I don't know when I'll actually beat it, though. I've been kind of getting the itch to go fight him. I will say one thing: whenever you actually want to, the Hylian shield is super easy to get, and
I've looked up how to get it,
and you can get it anytime. Like
yeah,
it doesn't scale like Breath of the Wild. It's automatically just like max defense that it is.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
so I was
super easy.
It was one of those. It's one of those things when I go back to the surface, I'm gonna go get.
Yeah. No, it's super easy, and you can just honestly go into Hyrule Castle and nothing triggers, because there is a boss fight in the Sanctum where you fought Calamity Ganon in the first game, but it doesn't trigger until the quest. So you can just go into the Sanctum and stuff. And dude, speaking of that, I thought that was really interesting about the game as well. That boss fight up in the Sanctum for that quest where you have to go up there, you can dip the fuck out if you want. I thought that was so funny. I didn't know you could do that. I just read it online where that boss fight, fighting all of like the gloom stuff that you're fighting. I'm not gonna say what you're fighting just to try to avoid a spoiler there. But like it gets overwhelming. Like there's a lot, and like you can manage it. You can get through it. You know, you have your spirits with you, and you can make it work. Whatever. But like straight up, if you're just like, all right, yeah, fuck this, you can straight up just leave, like, and just not finish it. But if you do that, it will fuck you over in the final fight of the game. But I did think that was interesting that you can straight up say, oh, yep, peace out, I'm out. I thought that was pretty cool.
I don't want to fucking do this. I'll deal with y'all later.
I thought that was so funny that was an option that you could do there. Because I mean, obviously, all the other boss fights, like you're in the temple, you got to do the fight, you know. But like for that one, like you can straight up say, "Oh no, I'm good. I'm good." I also found out, and you'll find this out too, as you're in the depths and you've completed one temple, you'll find the bosses in the depths. That flying thing, you will find him in the depths. I'll tell you exactly where he is too. He's over in the southwest of the depths in the Gerudo area. He's just flying around. Dude, when I saw him, I shit my pants. I was so scared. I didn't know what it was because it was pitch ass black, and I'm just riding Farash. Like I was riding Farash for like 5 minutes because you can ride him down into the depths, and I'm just chilling. Like, oh man, this is a great way just to go through the depths, whatever, having a great time. And I look over, and in the pitch black, I see something like spinning around, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And I zoom in on it. I'm like, oh, that's the boss from the Wind Temple. Holy shit. So yeah, you can battle, and I have found other bosses since, but yeah, you can rebattle them down in the depths. So shout out to that.
All right.
So have fun.
Yeah, no, I haven't really encountered. I haven't encountered too much in the depths. I'm just kind of running around. I jump. I get down there, and I know they got like little depot stations where you can build your cars or something. I just jump on a horse and go.
Yeah, you can find so much down there without ever initiating a quest line, because there's quests for like all of the different pieces of like gear that would normally be for like amiibos and stuff. They're pretty much all in the depths for the most part. There's some that's in the overworld, and you can just stumble upon them. I've stumbled upon multiple pieces.
Yeah, I've like I said, for me the most part in the depths is just I go down and I look around and I'm like root. going that way.
Yep.
Let's just light this bitch up.
Yep. No, the game is honestly phenomenal, and also to give kudos to that, they've sold 10 million copies in 3 days of release, which is unbelievable.
Yeah, the game is good. Even for someone like me, who it's not a game that I was excited for. It's not a game like Alex. You have last I looked, you had like 60 fucking hours in it.
I'm at like 80 now.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get that far.
I'm not gonna get that far. Well,
I'll tell you right now, I'm not getting that far.
Right.
It's like I'm enjoying the game for what it has to offer to me right now.
Yeah.
Which, like, all the building mechanics and everything that you can do, like with like having the batteries, upgrading everything, making crazy shit. Not for me. It's like I'm doing is I'm making me a very simple like car basically a very simple cart that I'll throw a fan or something on, or like put a steering thing on, and I'll just go for a little while.
Yeah, just kind of.
It's like I just use it as a thing to get from point to point. I don't care about if it's anything crazy. I'm not worried about it.
Right.
It's like I'm not building anything complex. But yeah, I'm just enjoying it. I'm playing it for whatever enjoyment I can get out of it, and as soon as that stops is when I'll be done with it.
Fair enough.
It's like when I stop enjoying going around, or I stop, like, if it starts feeling like a chore, then that's when I'll stop.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Man, we are like an hour and 30 into this show. We have been gone. At this point, I'm just going to change the thumbnail and just take off the Last of Us portion of it. I mean, we'll still touch on it, obviously, but I'm just going to take it off as like a talking point. I'll change the title of the episode and everything. Did you have some shit that you wanted to chat about?
Yeah, I mean, just not for very long. A couple things I was going to mention. Because something else that I've been playing for the past week, or like sporadically, because like me and my friends that I normally play with, we'll hop on and play it. We picked up a game called Plate Up. It's basically like Overcooked as a roguelite.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like you can pick, or basically what it is you pick a restaurant layout and you pick whatever your main course is going to be for the restaurant, and then like you try to make it 15 days, and every couple days like you get new modifiers where it can be like you can modify if the restaurant's going to be formal or casual, and then you can get like you can decorate it based off that, and based on the decorations you get different bonuses. Like I think the formal, if you max out the formal bonuses, then like the guests won't make messes in the dining area, which is nice. And then it's like you can after every day you get like little envelopes with different stuff, like counters, tables, stuff like that. And there's a way to upgrade them in that. It's basically just like a fun little roguelite Overcooked style game. It's enjoyable. It's like but yeah, it's like, so we've been playing that some. It's fun. It's kind of just a fun game. We'll do a run or two, and then we're like, all right, let's take a break, play something else. It's a nice game to break up the like whatever else we've been playing. And then today, I started playing it yesterday, and then kind of dove into it more today. The newest DLC for Celasta has come out, Palace of Ice, which is a continuation of the main campaign that takes you to the max level you can get to is 16 in this, which the max level in the previous, or in the campaign of the base game, is 12, and you can import saves from the main campaign into this and play with your existing characters and all the gear that you had for them. Or alternatively, you can create new characters, or like you can create a new save file in there, and if you do that, it'll raise all of your characters to level 10. And then there's chests at the first thing you do when you interact with your characters is you interact with a chest. So if you bring new characters in, you won't be going in with like just completely basic items. You get some like magical equipment, which is nice. But I've been playing it. It's been fun. They also had a big balance patch for like the base game, and DLC adds in like 2 new races.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a lot of fun. I went back to one of my more recent parties that I played with, and I've been having fun with it.
Nice.
So it's been fun. If you like, I mean, anybody that likes Solasta, it's a fun pickup.
Yeah,
It just it continues on with the campaign from kind of where it ended off, and there's like a brief little here's what happened previously, like at the beginning of it. So it is very enjoyable. I have found some crazy weapons.
Nice.
It's like some of them I'm not using but some of them I'm like, I wasn't planning on having this play style or like doing this very much, but
Here we are.
for when it happens, I will use this 100%.
Yeah, I will be there and I will be ready.
But yeah, it's I've been having a blast with it. I love Solasta. It's like I've played. It's like I've played through the main campaign of it like a bunch of times.
Mm-hmm.
So getting to go back and import the files from some of my previous parties has been fun because I've had some very strong parties and I've had some very interesting parties. Because you can it's like once you understand how the game works and the systems and know what's coming, you can play with just about anything and make it work. So that's part of the fun I had with it. So now I went back to the party that I'm taking through is one of the stronger parties that I made because I was kind of the opinion I'm like, if I'm gonna go into something where I'm completely blind, let's take my good party,
Right.
or like at least my most balanced party.
Mm-hmm.
So
Fair enough.
but yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And then I will say I know he's not here, but Zach has he's dove into Across the Obelisk that I've mentioned a few times playing. He's been playing it.
Has he been playing it like nonstop?
I mean, he's been playing it a decent amount.
Yeah.
Because I'd see him hop on. He was kind of alternating between Omega Strikers and it.
Yeah.
And from what he's been telling me, he plays like a psycho. Because he was telling me about like how he plays. Because the way that game works is you have a 15 card starting deck, and then you have materials and you can craft cards. And I don't know if there's a limit to the deck size you can have, but the way that me and my buddy play the game is we play with like the maximum amount of cards that I've ever had in a deck. Like the largest deck I've ever had is 25. And that it's like even that I was like, I need to cut this. I need to scale this back. Man, fucking Zach was playing with like 40s.
Oh my God.
He was playing a different game than I was.
It sounds like it. What is he doing?
No, it's like he was saying he's playing like draft format because after every combat encounter you get offered, like after every node you go to that has a combat encounter, you get a card reward. So he was playing his own format where he has to accept it. Or it's like he has to accept a card.
I like how that he made his own game in the game.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, I think he said he completed a run now. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. This dude.
but yeah, it's like that's kind of all I had. Was wanted to mention a couple brief things that I had been up to.
Gotcha. All right. Well, we will quickly hit the Last of Us stuff, and at this point, I'll just take it out of the title and thumbnail. It's all good. Since we're an hour and a half in, gonna try to wrap the show up here soon. So it involves that factions multiplayer. It was supposed to be the big, like one of the big cap offs at Summer Game Fest, and of course it got leaked early. We all saw how fucking awkward that that entire closed presentation was. Jason Schreier of Bloomberg reported out that Sony has basically slowed development and scaled it back and moved dev to other projects. The game's not canceled, but it's being completely reevaluated. Claims that it's a shit show. But then like Naughty Dog and Naughty Dog like devs have all put in like their own like statements and chimed in. It's just like the game's fine, the game's going great. People are saying it's like just let us cook, man. We're cooking in the kitchen. Leave us alone. Some people was like, oh, it smells great in the kitchen. Just like saying shit like that, like disputing and everything. But then it's just like the thing is that I keep seeing that I think is so interesting about this drama is like I don't think anyone really asked for this. Like everyone just wants to know when part 3 is happening. You know what I mean? Like no one asked for this.
It's one of those things where like when Last of Us came out initially, it had that multiplayer thing to it, and it was one of those things where like nobody asked for it, but
some people played it.
But it was good.
Yeah.
So it's like people enjoyed it. And then they're like, all right, doing the multiplayer thing again. It's like,
but it's a standalone game. It's huge.
It's like we're doing that thing. It's like people seem to like it. It was received really well. All right, let's do it. And then it's like, well, how long are we going to work on that?
Basically,
because it's a thing of like
Sony's impatient right now.
It's probably Sony looking at it because it's like the reception from people are like, yeah, it's great that you're working on that. We like that you're doing what you wanted to work on. When's part 3?
Yeah, that's all people give a shit.
It's like Sony's sitting there and they're just like, yo,
that's a good question. When is part 3?
Sony's like, yo, man, I know y'all are enjoying yourself. Part 3.
Yeah.
When? It's like, I know you want to spend the time. You want to do it right.
Yep.
But come on, man. You got to work with me.
I know. Oh, man. Because like I said, that's the general reception online is everyone's just like, yeah, we didn't ask for this. It's cool and all, but, we want part 3. That's what we want.
Yeah.
And that's what's so funny about it. I'm glad that apparently it's going well according to the devs and stuff, but it's just like, there's other things people want out of it. But I don't know. I thought the back and forth was pretty funny because like Jason Schreier's report comes out and then literally Naughty Dog put out their statement about it. Also pretty much delaying the game, saying that they need more time to work on it. Then I saw a bunch of comments from game devs where it's like, let us cook. It's like, what we're cooking in the kitchen smells good and shit like that. And I'm just like, okay, I guess we'll see if the game is actually going to be worth the shit one day. Oh, man.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game that some people will play.
That's probably the best way to put it. It's Naughty Dog. It's not gonna be a bad game. It's gonna be a great game, but you're right. Only some people play it.
Yeah, it's not gonna be a game that's gonna take over the world.
Yeah, it's not gonna win a game of the year.
It's like there's gonna be a smaller group of people that is gonna be the game that they play, and they're so excited that it's happening.
Yeah, exactly. You ready to hit the weekly wrap up?
Yeah.
All right. So I do want to shout out the few things from our break week. So Mortal Kombat 1 was officially revealed, and what Zach, I think, predicted on the show ends up being the story.
Yep.
Where it's like they basically reset the universe with whoever as a god or whoever. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was Liu Kang as the new he took Raiden's position basically.
Yeah. So shout out to that. Apparently, Overwatch 2 is a complete shit show. I kind of wish we would have been able to do an episode last week because I would have loved to talk about this in detail. But like the fact that Overwatch 2, the thing that made Overwatch 2, all got canceled is just hilarious to me. Because now it's literally just Overwatch with a fresh coat of paint, some new characters, some new... it's literally Overwatch. Everything that was supposed to make it Overwatch 2 no longer happen. All the PvE stuff not happening. All of the individual hero skill trees and everything that you could have not happening. The stuff that made it 2 is not happening. What a shit show this game has been.
Yeah, here's the thing. It sucks.
Yeah,
I completely understand why they've made the decision. It's like, because why would they continue to work on it when they know at the end of the day 10% of people are going to play that? Or it's like you would have it would release and you would have probably 60% of your player base be like, yeah, let's try it out. And you would have maybe a 10% retention who that's what they played.
Yeah.
So
which I would have been part of that 10%.
It's like I would have played that part of the game.
I like the PvE stuff they have.
It's like I don't...
Or special events and shit.
Yeah, it's like I don't really give a shit about Overwatch.
Yeah.
But it's like PvE, it's like PvE missions and stuff like that in PvP games. I always love when they have stuff like that because it's like it's like that is more for me in particular. That is more likely to draw me in to play your PvP portion of the game. Is if you have a good PvE section, I'll come to play that,
Right.
and then I'll be like, okay, let's break it up. Let's. I'm already on the launcher. Let's go ahead and play some PvP.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's one of those, and it's like it could have been a thing where yeah, the majority of your player base is never gonna touch it, but you'd also have the like 5 stack of friends or 4 stack of friends or whatever the fucking group size is in that game that would like play the game. Maybe they're on a 4 loss streak or something. They're like, you know what, fuck it, let's go play a couple rounds PvE. Let's go do some of that stuff, and then we'll come back.
Yeah.
Reset ourselves, but that you keep them on your launcher.
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, they get tired of that and they're like, okay, well, let's go play some other game.
Yeah, exactly. Now, it's just completely unfortunate, like you said. Like again, this was the big hype and build up for Overwatch.
It was the
2.
only reason I gave a shit about Overwatch 2.
Yeah, like this is what was going to make Overwatch 2, and now it's just all dead. I don't know. Sucks is what it is. I with that done, I will never play Overwatch 2 again. I'll be very transparent.
The problem is like they talk about it and they're like, balancing this as a live service game, basically. It's like it takes a lot of time and we really can't dedicate it. It's like it's like have your PvP team and then you have a PvE team. It's like realistically you could go copy. It's like copy characters and assets and everything. Paste over here. We'll balance this side of it. You balance that side of it.
Yeah. And I will say with this being the direction, honestly, I really do feel like it just has to do with, the involvement from above that happened. Because, like, let's be real. Like, we talked about this when Overwatch 2 became a thing. The Overwatch 2 just getting, like, I don't think that ever, like, when, I think what was his name, Jeff Kaplan maybe was his name. I think that was leading it for the longest time, who made Overwatch. I don't think he ever intended to Overwatch 2 be a thing. He intended to do similar to what Bungie wanted to do with Destiny and have Destiny 1 be the game for like 10 plus years. Destiny 2 wasn't supposed to happen. Activision Blizzard kind of forced that, and I feel like the same thing happened here. Now Activision Blizzard kind of threw out the stuff that made Overwatch 2 Overwatch 2. I don't know. It sucks.
Yeah, but counter to that point, let's get a Destiny 3 in here.
At this point, yeah, I would like to see a Destiny 3.
Just as a reset. It's like there's you can't go back to that game at this point.
It's tough. Every time I go
just
back,
get confused.
Every time I randomly like get the itch, because I do legitimately get the itch to play. I really do, and I dive into the game, and I'm just like, what the fuck is happening?
Because the problem is, it's 2 years since we played it, and none of the systems are the same. And we look at it, we go, the fuck are we supposed to do?
Even added 2 new classes, 2 new types. There's like a time-based one and something else. I don't know what. There's the 3 that we know: the Void, the Solar, and the Arc. And there's Stasis, and there's something else.
I don't know. It's one of those where it's like that's a game that I enjoyed playing when I played it, but the moment you get out of it, you might as well wash your hands. You're never coming back.
True, bro. True. I want to play it, but man, there's just so much happening. Anyway, back to the break week stuff. Apparently, the new Bioshock's in developmental hell. It's been reset like 3 times, and it may be reset again, from what I understand. So that's unfortunate. There's also a rumor that Persona 3 Remake is set to be revealed at Xbox Showcase, which I feel like that might make sense. Xbox is the one, they snagged the big reveal, like, oh, it's coming to Game Pass and stuff, so that would make sense. And then we also had the PS5 Access controller revealed. If you don't know what that is, definitely look into it. I think it's a really cool, innovative way to just give more people who have like physical disabilities the chance to do gaming. Xbox, of course, did theirs with the launch, the Series X and the Series S, and now we have PlayStation 5 doing one as well. Yep. Getting into more recent stuff, we did have a leak for Jumpstar's Ultimax, arena fighter combat system like Ninja Storm or Hinokami Chronicles, of around 150 characters, and CyberConnect 2 is the one who's developing this. So I actually have some faith in this game. On AniMan Plus this past week, me, Zach, and Steve, we all chat about like our dream anime games and stuff. But the start of the show, we did talk about this Jumpstar's Ultimax, and Hopefully, it's going to be good. With CyberConnect doing it, I want to believe that this one will actually be good. CyberConnect has quite the history of successful games. Next up, we did have Zach's Dragon Quest game getting its release date on September 28th. I specify Zach's game because, for anyone that does not know, over at AniMan Plus, Zach beat his skull into the wall every single week watching this fucking show just because I never took it off the script. And he made it through the whole show. So he is going to be playing this game just for the memes. But a game that we are excited for, though, Pal World, is confirmed to be at Summer Game Fest on June 8th. So I'm looking forward to seeing an update on that. Embracer Group CEO, he has no comments every time that he's asked about it. He just laughs and he says, "Oh, this is my favorite question." No comments about the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake that's been talked about to be in complete developmental hell as well. He says that it's still in development. Even Embracer claims it's still in development, even though it's going through absolute hell at the time. At this point, that's one of those ones that Sony revealed, like a year and a half ago, that I'm convinced doesn't fucking exist. I'm convinced this game is not real. Like, I'm upfront.
It's one of those ones where, like I've said before, and we were talking about earlier in the show, just stop fucking telling us you're making the game. It's like, I know that you probably are legally required to or like you're maybe not legally, but you're bound to, or it's like you have to tell us because the people giving you money want the money back.
Yep.
And they're like, okay, well, we have to tell them something exciting so that they continue to give us money.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, but remember the time when you would announce a game and then the game would come out at the end of the year?
Let's get back to that.
At least get close to that.
Yeah.
Stop announcing a game before you fucking start working on it.
Another example of that is the next thing on our wrap up here, fucking Prince of Persia. Apparently it got Prime Ford.
Yeah, it's like people they really need to stop. It's like they've made games before without telling us about it 4 to 5 years before the game comes out.
Yep.
You can still do it.
Yeah, Sands of Time, the remake, as we know, it got delayed. Pre-orders were canceled. It then got moved over to Ubisoft Montreal, who is the team that made the original Prince of Persia games. So it's in good hands, in my opinion. But yeah, with the game status now, they are back to square one. That was what they confirmed recently. So the game did, in fact, get Prime Ford. And they also did confirm, and I would imagine they went ahead and confirmed this because of the shit show it's been to get this game going. They did confirm there will be no more remakes of Prince of Persia after this. It's like, we're doing this, and that's it. So I'm just like, Two Thrones kind of sucked, but when the second game, Warrior Within was so fucking good. So that's kind of disappointing. But Sands of Time was the best one, so I guess it's fine. But yeah, that was just unfortunate. This game, I saw so many comments of people saying, "I'm convinced this game's not real," which fair enough. Next thing we got is 2 new Rune Factory games was announced, Rune Factory 6 and Rune Factory Project Dragon. Project Dragon actually got a trailer. Rune Factory 6 just got its title card. And then this I thought was pretty funny because we talked about this when this added to Steam apparently a month ago or so. And apparently even now with this happening, it's still legal for them to be on Steam. Emulator Dolphin has been removed from Steam after a DMCA takedown from Nintendo. But the conversation I still continue to see online is what they were doing, putting on Steam, is still legal emulation.
Yeah, I mean,
which I thought this was interesting.
Welcome, yeah. I mean, this is the same stuff where it's like they can't come. It's like they're coming after the emulation group or the people behind. Actually, they may not even be coming after them. They're going to Steam.
Yeah,
straight and basically to Steam. And saying take it down, and Steam's reaction will always be, "We don't want any trouble."
Basically, Steam just exists, man. Valve is just over there doing their thing. Yeah,
Steam. Anytime, I mean, pretty much anytime somebody comes after a group, and it comes to Steam and goes, "We are about to have problems." Steam goes, "Not with us."
Basically, because yeah, it was taken down immediately. And it is postponed indefinitely if that's going to even come to Steam. So I don't know. I thought that was interesting. The last thing what we have here
We
is
got Game of the Year.
yeah, game of the year, baby.
The game no one asked for.
Lord of the Rings Gollum absolutely bombed with a 38 on Metacritic. And bro, I saw the side-by-side shots of when the game was announced and the final product, and it's two different fucking
Have
games.
you watched any of the gameplay on it?
No, what I want.
It's ass.
I want to get this game.
It's a chore simulator.
I really want to get this game. I really do, man. I kind of want to do like some sort of YouTube series of just playing really terrible new releases, and this is one that I would start with.
I don't know. I watched a little bit on it, and I'm like, this game sucks.
Bro, it it just looks so bad. The side by shots compares. Like, what happened to the original game is what I want to know. And what's funny is like the developers put out like their trademark apology. You know, that's the 6th apology we've had this year. And they're just like, we're going to continue to work on, you know, patches and improvements of the game. And people's just like, bro, you can't improve a steaming pile of shit. The gameplay itself is bad. The game is bad. Like, it's not just that it looks bad or it's performing bad. The game is bad. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, that game just looks like a shit show. We got Josh coming in here. A bit late to the announced too early party, whatever happened to that Star Wars Knights of the Republic. It was announced back in 2021, then Radio Silence. That's what we were just chatting about. So with that one, it's basically in full developmental hell. Embracer CEO, he recently got asked about it, and he laughed. He's like, oh, it's my favorite question. No comment. And they claim it's still in development. They claim it's still going, but that is definitely in developmental hell. It's been passed off directors and dev teams a couple times now.
You got to claim it's still in development until you either can it or release it.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like that pirate game that Ubisoft's doing. What is it again? I don't remember. What is it called?
I've never known what it's called.
God, what is it called? The one that's been delayed like 60 million times.
Piece of shit.
Yeah, it is. It is a piece of shit. Something Bones? I'm drawing the biggest blank right now. What is that game called? We joke about it all the time, and I can't remember what it's called now. Skull and Bones.
I wasn't close.
Skull and Bones. It was Prime Forward. No, yeah, that remake was basically Prime Forward. Sands of Time remake was Prime Forward. BioShock's been Prime Forward 3 times. It's been a struggling time for some of these games.
If it happens to Prime 4 again, you can't call it Prime Forward anymore.
Yeah, I know.
You gotta pick a new game.
I know. I gotta pick a new game. I mean, it just keeps happening at this point. So I have to come up with another way to talk about it. I just like still calling it Prime Forward because at the time when that happened, that's still like not something that happens often. And the fact that like when this happens, no one else really makes a big deal about it. It's just like in a general press release, you know?
I feel like it's one of those things where
Nintendo made it a big deal.
It's like it doesn't happen very often, but then like Nintendo made a point of it because one, this shit doesn't happen in Nintendo games.
No, it does not.
And it's one of those where it's like I feel like other developers were like, holy shit, you can do that?
You can restart a game?
It doesn't have to just sit here for 6 years?
Oh, I will still always question what that original Prime 4 was that Bandai Namco was working on. But we'll never know. Anyway, I think we're going to wrap up the show now. I mean, we're literally about to hit the 2-hour live mark, so it's like an hour 50 doing the show. So I'm going to hit the music, and we're going to get out of here. Last thoughts?
If you made it to the end, thank you very much. And if you like the show, we do these every Saturday roughly at about 6 p.m. Central Time.
Yep,
somewhere around there.
Yeah,
give or take a little bit. So yeah, come check us out live.
And then also make sure to check us out at our website, sparky3.com. You can sign up for free or sign up for $5 a month. We'd appreciate that extra support, as well as the extra support from buying some Rogue Energy with our referral link down below, or heading over to Agent Inc. and picking up one of the best jerseys on the website. Also using the referral link down below. Join the Discord. Come chat with us. We'll be back next week. We should. Hopefully Zach will be here too. Until next time, guys. Bye.